Is INCRadio DZEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of those tuning into our broadcast today. My name is Brother Andrew, and here we are from the local congregation of Anaheim. Here we are in our district studio for INC Radio. Today is February 10, 2024. It is about 50 degrees. It is a very nice and sunny day compared to what we experienced in this past week here in SoCal, a lot of storms. But now it's very sunny. So here are some of our ways to tune in. You can tune in always to incradio.org and as usual through INC Radio DZEM 954. Our program rundown for today is, as always, we will read our comments, greetings, and our shout outs. So thank you to all of those who are already commenting in our live chat. We have our on-air activity, our vision for our on-air presentation for INC Radio throughout the years, and our main discussion for today. Now, Sister Jaden, we are celebrating a very important milestone today. Do you happen to know what that is?
Sepsi?
Yes, we are celebrating the 55th anniversary of INC Radio. So this is what our broadcast will be about. But before we move on to our presentation, we have a brief CFO in action, just explaining what is happening in our district in the past few days and upcoming as well.
Hi, my name is Sister Jaden Carlos from the local of Anaheim, and I will be leading our CFO in action. So today, actually, February 10th, we have a Kadiwa meet and greet. And then on February 18th, we have the district band together. Please look forward to both of these events. And let's look forward to any more upcoming activities. This wraps up our brief CFO in action for this weekend. Make sure you continue to subscribe to our INC Radio DZEM 954 YouTube channel. So I'd like to pass it back to Brother Andrew for our
on-air activity. Thank you, Sister Jaden. But before we move on, I know you guys want to see our very, very special guests, but I do want to take the time to read your lovely comments before we move on. So I want to shout out to Brother Ron de Mesa, who is always supporting us, and Sister Lauren May de Mesa as well. Shout out to our brother Calvin and Bianco. Good morning, beloved brethren. Hashtag Victorville. I hope you are enjoying Victorville. I do know it's very cold there, so I hope you're staying warm. And to Sister Melody de Jos, hello, Brother Andrew, and Sister Jaden. Yes, and then now we'll move on to our honor activity. We would like to introduce our very, very esteemed, our very special guests, Brother Julian and Sister Danica. Let's welcome them on board.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right. So can you both please? I know everyone from our chat probably knows these two already, but can we have a brief introduction from the both of you?
These first.
Good morning, everyone. Happy 55th anniversary to Sebsi. I'm Sister Jenica from the local of Anaheim.
I'm Brother Julian Sistoso from the local of Anaheim as well.
What a coincidence. I guess we're all from the local of Anaheim. But moving on, we do have a on-air presentation. If we can pull that up on our screen, I just want to ask about a few of these pictures because I'm relatively new to radio, and I don't know what it's like to be in radio before it was INC Radio Orange County, California. So this slideshow presentation is a very good way to kind of snapshot back into the past and see what has happened before INC Radio Orange County, California. So let's move on to our first slide. Ooh, okay.
Okay.
So let's talk about that picture on the right. Do you happen to know? Can anyone explain what's happening
I wasn't even in radio at the time either.
pictures?
I believe that is when all the INC Radio California producers at that time gathered together for our oath taking. So that was back in 2016.
Oh wow.
2016?
Yeah. Some familiar faces
I
there.
know. There's
Shout out to Sister Marie.
Sister Marie, Kuya
Yeah.
Pete. See
Wow.
Brother Stephen, Brother Ryan, Brother Josh. Way back then. Wow. Okay.
Wow. And then is that also the same for the left as well? Or is the left a different picture?
For the left photo, oh, shout out to Brother Addy.
Brother Addy,
know, he's on the
okay.
top right.
Okay, Addy.
Still looks good
We
as always.
Yeah, we had our very first broadcast here in the local of Anaheim in our smaller studio. Um, I believe that's in the second floor, the other second floor. But yeah, that was when you were still INC Radio Southwest.
Wow.
Oh, Southwest.
Southwest. So it was different back
It was
then, so-
different. We
Okay.
were combined satellite.
All right, let's move on to our next slide then. Let's see what we have next for our picture. Oh, there's Sister Marie again. And
Okay.
Sister Kayla, I believe.
And Brother Addy again. There too. And Aunt Regine.
Yeah, and I think that right picture is in the Philippines.
Yeah.
That's
I think
not here.
That's at the main studio, right?
Yeah, that is at the main studio.
Wow.
I believe that was during IKC. I didn't get to go to IKC. Maybe the next time I'll be able to, but I believe all our producers were able to produce a broadcast in the main studio, which was a really fun experience for them.
Yeah, and I think you can kind of see in the background there's a Subsea 50th anniversary. So
yeah, that was
now it's
5 years ago,
55th
huh?
anniversary.
2019. That's
So
right.
very fitting that we
Wow.
are showing that photo.
Wow.
Let's move on to our next slide. Oh, okay. So this is I see a little bit of a more familiar face here, and in these two
Okay.
slides, and we're kind of reeling it into the present a little
Yeah,
bit at
yeah.
a time. And then of course we have our brother Alex, our CFO overseer here.
See, I can't remember what activity that is at the right. I mean, that was at
Yeah.
looked like one of our big district picnics or.
Or could
For
be my
sure.
countrymen.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
that
I'm
looks
looking
like
at the
it's,
shirts too.
My countrymen.
Do you remember
my
these?
brethren.
I do. I think we did a live report during My Countrymen, My Brethren. And I see Atta Lauren there in the
Aw,
corner.
shout out to Aunt
Aw.
Lauren.
Shout out to Atta Lauren, who was one of our crew members back then. And also Kuya Pete. He was also one of our producers
Kuya Pete.
during that event.
Shout out to Kuya Pete and Ka Alma if you're tuning in right now, Paul.
Right. And then on the right, there's also that looks like a very big meeting, big broadcast. And what does that say in the background? INC Radio California. So now it's from
yes.
Southwest, and then it became INC Radio California, right? All right. So let's move on to our next slide. Oh,
Mr.
no.
Jaded, Brother
That's the whole
Andrew.
feature right
Oh
here.
no.
Okay, so these are live reports, right? It looks like these are live reports. Sister Jaden, do you remember what that activity is that you did a live report for?
We had so many activities, so
Yeah.
So many picnics.
which is a good thing. Maybe it's good that I don't remember exactly which
That's
one.
true.
But I do remember a key thing was when every locale brought food from like a different ethnic culture.
Yeah.
So I remember I believe this was my very first time live reporting for INC Radio. So it was a good experience. And then Brother Andrew, I think I recall that picture as well.
I don't remember.
You know?
It's actually here
It was
at
in Anaheim. It was
for
in
the
Anaheim.
Kadiwa,
It was a combined, yeah, it was a combined CFO. I think it was our
Yeah.
CFO day, right? It was combined with another local congregation. And actually, I just wanted to point out, I think the activity on the left, I think that was maybe one of the first few activities we had like coming out of the pandemic, right? So, I mean, like you mentioned, Brother Andrew, right? Seeing these pictures from when it was INC Radio Southwest to California to, we transitioned throughout the pandemic and everything. So it's nice to see these pictures,
Yeah, for sure. And it's like we're slowly transitioning back into the present time that we are in today. Are there any more pictures, Cleotech? Let's see if there are more. Oh, so as we were talking about, we were briefly experiencing a pandemic. So here are some slides that are showcasing that. So I can't see very well, but I can tell that there's a lot of boxes.
Yeah, when we had our INC radio broadcast on was it Google Meets?
Google Meets, yeah.
Yes, I think we had virtual broadcasts for about maybe a year and a half. And that was when many of our crew members started joining INC Radio. So I think that our broadcasts were really an anchor for us every weekend through the pandemic. We were still able to perform how we usually do in radio. So shout out to my old broadcast team in the corner there.
Aww. But are there any more slides that we can show? Two more slides. Okay, so now this is when we came back from the pandemic.
That's
what
right.
Julian said.
Yeah.
Um, can we do any of y'all remember the bottom left photo?
That bottom left, it looks like it's Anaheim Folklore.
Yeah.
I think we had them as like a live audience. Yeah. I don't remember what the topic was, but we did have a live audience,
So
which
shout
was
out-
nice. You know, shout out to the book lords
Thanks
in
for supporting
Anaheim
us always.
for supporting us. And then let's see, the top left, I don't remember. I think it was SGV. I think that was the local. I see Sister Carla
Brother Carl.
and Brother Carl in the picture.
Yeah.
So shout out to the local of
SGV.
SGV.
And then on
On the
the
right.
right, I think we featured someone from Fontana, and then we had our broadcast in Montclair.
We did. Look at you
So-
there, Brother Andrew. Look at you.
And Sister Regine is there, and Brother Lionel, and Brother Kobe wasn't INC Radio at the time, but
This was some foreshadowing, right?
yeah.
Some foreshadowing.
Yes, he is now.
Yes. And then we have one more slide that we want to show. Oh, and then this is
Okay.
our what
Very
was this
more
one?
recent.
Yes,
right.
this is last year, just last year.
It was.
That's
Yeah.
Sister Carla, and I believe that's
Sister
me filming.
Oh, that is you.
That's my
Alyssa.
blue jacket that I love
Sister
wearing.
Alyssa.
And then that's Sister
Let's see
Alyssa.
Brother Julian
Yeah, me in
munching
the
in the
back.
background.
He's probably eating.
Oh wow. So
Great.
this was our roadshow and regional awards. Sister Jenica, did you want to like talk about
How
like
was the planning for that?
Yeah,
How was the
yeah.
experience for that?
you had a lot to do for the plan for our satellite?
It was a lot of fun. It was a very unique experience. Definitely a once in a lifetime opportunity to work with all the other producers and satellites across North America and even Canada and the neighboring islands. So it was great to see everyone in person because we don't get to see them in person ever. It's always virtual through their programs. So it was a lot of fun getting to meet and greet the crew and also be part of this experience. We did our roadshow, got to go around the different booths, and also have our award ceremony.
Yes. That was a very, very action-packed day.
Yes.
Was.
But it was a very nice and fulfilling day as well. We have one more slide. Cleotech is showing one more slide. And now that is our Sister Jaden, do you want to explain what that left photo is?
Photo. I believe it was an anniversary.
Yes. Do you know when the anniversary? Just kidding. It was last November. We had our second year anniversary, and then
Yeah.
that is Sister Jaden on the right.
Yes, that was my old team from last year. Shout out to my old team 3. We missed you, Sister Ashley, as our team lead.
Aww.
I have done so many broadcasts with her. Like
Aw.
she is the reason I'm here. So
Aw.
shout out to her.
But it's
Shout out.
okay. You're in team 3 now.
Shout out to the local of Riverside.
Yes. Shout
for
out to the
always
local Riverside.
supporting us and for allowing us to have our anniversary broadcast there. We had so much fun with all of you people, and hopefully next year or this year we can have more broadcasts there.
Yes. And now, before we move on to our main discussion, we do want to briefly do some shout outs as well. So we have Brother Joshua Mamakos from Victorville. Greetings. And then we have Sister Alma from #Riverside.
Riverside.
So
the
thank you,
Alma.
Riverside, always for supporting us. And we also had Sister Paula. I saw her name in our live chat. So thank you, Sister Paula Laredo, for joining and tuning in with us today. Now, Sister Jaden, what do we have in store for our main discussion?
All right, so for our main discussion, we're going to continue to discuss and celebrate the 55th anniversary of INC Radio. So we're going to just start off with some questions. I'd like to ask Sister Jenica first. When did you start as an INC Radio crew member? So we know that you're a producer now, but you have to have built your way up. So we'd like to just ask you how that journey was for you.
Yeah, so when INC Radio was first introduced to this part of the world, I was still in District Benhi. So at that time, we were just asked to help for a broadcast, and I had no idea what INC Radio was, or what this broadcast consisted of. And at that time, it was still in the local of LA, where we had our launch episode for INCRadio California. And it was really fun getting to collaborate with the other DCFO officers to produce that broadcast. And then from then on, I fell in love with radio and just what we do and broadcasting every week. And since then, I've always been in radio. So that was back in 2016.
Wow.
Wow.
2016. 2016 was how many years ago? 8? 8 years ago. So very experienced and talented person we have, and we're very blessed to have our sister Jenica, but we're also very blessed to have our other producer here with us today, of course, Julian. So how did you start with your INC radio journey?
So I first started as a guest for a broadcast. Actually, I was a guest. I think INC Radio was featuring the local of Anaheim. It was here, and I remember I was guest alongside Brother Zylo. Shout out to Kui Zylo from Anaheim. I don't remember exactly what we did for the broadcast, but I had fun. I had a lot of fun. It was, I believe, January of 2020, and I was, trying to see how else I can support the district. I was district Binhi at the time, and I wanted to see how I can, become more involved, how I can find more ways to, creatively grow in my faith. And after being a guest for one show of INC Radio, I had a lot of fun. I feel like if you're having fun while you're performing your duty, like that's even better, right? So the fact that I wasn't even in INC Radio yet, I was just a guest, and I felt that way. It was just like a clear sign for me to join. And ever since then, I've been in radio for 4 years now. This is my fourth year.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
The interviewed became the interviewer.
Now I'm being interviewed again.
Again.
And
How the cycle goes.
January 2020 is a very perfect time because that's right before
Exactly.
the pandemic
Right.
hit. And it's also a coincidence because I was also a guest first and then
Join.
eventually joined.
Joined.
I feel like
See?
that's a very common way.
Yeah.
Happened a lot, right?
I was about to
Yeah.
ask and extend the question to you, Brother Andrew, actually, like how you started off as a crew member.
Yeah.
I think they asked me to be a guest after one of the recognition days.
Mhm.
So they wanted my experience about how to help in Book night or how it was handling Binny Recognition Day. And I believe you were still with us, right? For Deepin or no?
I think it might have been after.
Oh,
It might have been when Brother Nate was president. Shout out to Brother Nate.
Yes. Shout out to Brother Nate. But that was how I was. That was how I became a guest.
Yeah.
And then eventually they asked me for the following year to join for radio.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then how about you, Sister Jade? And let's complete the cycle.
Actually, contrary to you guys starting off as guests, Sister Ashley, as I mentioned earlier, brought me in. She simply asked me, "Hey, do you want to do the weather for us?" And I was like, "Sure." She was like, "All you have to do is sit in front of the camera, smile, and tell us how cold or hot it is. Say the date. That's all you have to do." And then I just kind of sat through the rest of the show, and from then on, she kept asking me if I was interested in continuing to be a part of something like that. And knowing me, like I love to talk, I love to yap. So I was like, yeah, this is perfect for me. And then I was a guest, and then I was a crew member, and now here we are.
Now here we all
Look at all of us. Yeah.
Here we
So it's very
are.
natural. We're all here together.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask Sister Jenica, since you were here since 2016, wow, 8 years. Sorry. What has it been like all these years, all throughout the years of being in INC Radio and then growing up in INC Radio and then continuing to learn more and more about it? What has changed the most? I would ask.
Well, what has changed the most would probably be just the growth of the satellites. And when our district split and we became Orange County, California, INC Radio was established in their own districts, like INC Radio Orange County, LAC, SD. So just the growth is a positive change for the West Coast. But I think what has inspired me to stay in radio for the past 8 years, I think, is because it's very fulfilling, and every week there's always something new that we share in our programs, or we've had the opportunity to highlight different stories of the brethren, and that's always a great thing about radio because you don't always get to connect with the brethren like that on certain levels aside from radio. So I think in terms of what has grown is definitely my inspiration for radio and the crew especially, and seeing them develop as crew members. Um, but yeah, like I mentioned, positive changes and just more growth for radio. And now that we are celebrating the 55th anniversary of SEBC, I wish we were all there in the Philippines to be part of that celebration, but it's great to see how far radio has come around the world.
And I noticed that you mentioned that we were able to feature a lot of the veteran stories, and I wanted to kind of ask everyone of us here, what has been your favorite moment so far in performing your duty as INC Radio, whether it be like a favorite topic or a favorite broadcast. It doesn't even have to be a broadcast, maybe like a meeting that we did as INC Radio. Great, Julian, do you have anything in mind?
There's a couple. So the first one for me would have to be the roadshow and regional awards.
Yeah.
I think mostly because that was the first time for any of us to even experience any type of activity or event like that where it's all just INC Radio. You know, we had the opportunity to set up our booth to represent who we are as a district, as a satellite. We got to attend the regional awards, which was also, you know, very, very nice. You know, got to have a little fancy award show, you know, again, for all for INC Radio, and to see our fellow crew members, you know, be included in that type of celebration. And then also we had an INC Radio kind of like launch meeting in our district. I don't know if y'all remember.
I don't think I was in radio at that time.
January 2022. It was on WebEx.
Was it on WebEx? Okay.
It was on WebEx.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
I just remember like everyone, yeah, you know, there were multiple. There's always like, you know, the launch at the beginning of the year, and that was our way of not just promoting ourselves to the district, but also, you know, letting the brethren know like we want to connect with you. You know, we want to hear your stories. We want to get to know you. We want to help you if we can. I just remember like being very, very involved with everyone's collaboration and promoting, you know, this activity, and I remember it being very, very successful. So yeah, those would be some two big moments for sure.
So the roadshow and the regional awards and the INC Radio launching in the beginning of 2022. Sister Jaden, do you have any favorite memories that you have so far? You can always just say radio show too.
Okay, well, definitely the road show. That was memorable because that one was like an all day thing.
Yeah.
Like we even had like an outfit change, all of that. I think another thing I really like about radio is when we used to have like caucuses very often here in the district office. It was always fun whenever everyone came together, like the whole crew for INC Radio, Orange County, California. They always had fun activities for us. So I break the ice.
Exactly.
That's probably what I like. One of my favorite things about radio. What about you, Brother Andrew?
I would say the same thing as well. That's what I was going to bring up. Isn't of course, our broadcasts are one of our favorite things to do, but our meetings as well as officers and responding all together is one of my favorites as well. Yeah. How about you, Sister Jenica? Let's wrap it up with Sister Jenica's response.
Well, everything that you all mentioned is my favorite too. I think just the camaraderie that we have in the team is what's really brings us together. The bond that we share, we always have fun, whether it's for our broadcast or just hanging out, as Brother Andrew mentioned. I also love getting to go to the other locals to have our live broadcasts. Seeing the brethren there be part of our live audience is always really fun to be part of.
Right. And of course, one of our new favorite memories now is both our brother Julian and our sister Jenica is here with us today. So new favorite moment. But unfortunately, that favorite moment has to end because we are unfortunately out of time. Sister Jaden, do you have anyone you want to give special thanks to?
Yeah. For sure. So for our special thanks, we would like to thank our brother Eduardo V. Manalo, of course, our executive minister, brother Angelo Arano Manalo, our CFO coordinator, brother Arnel Solano, our station manager, brother Hansel de Dios, our district minister, brother Alfred Alexis Laredo, our district CFO overseer, and last but not least, brother Emmanuel Andaya, our executive producer. Thank you so much, po. And now we would like to throw it back over to INC Radio San Diego. Please stay tuned.